والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن اتبع هداه. أما بعد, alhamdulillah, inshallah, we're going to continue with our explanation or with our translation of Shaykh Ibn Uthaimeen's explanation of Matn al-Aajrummiyyah, which relates to the area of al-Nahw, Arabic grammar, and that which relates to it. Alhamdulillah, we've gone slowly and steadily through the first part, almost like the introductory statement of Ibn al-Aajrummiyyah. We spoke about the part of the language or the aspect of the language that we are actually dealing with here, and that which relates to what we are doing, that being the Arabic language and the spoken Arabic language at that, and as it relates to groups of words that have meaning. He also spoke about the various aspects, so the three aspects of the Arabic language: the nouns and the verbs and the particles, or you might say the articles, al-ism wal-fi'l wal-harf, or asma' wal-af'al wal-huruf, if you don't use the plural. And Ibn al-Aajrummiyyah gave some examples of the signs that relate to, or the main signs that relate to each of those categories, and Ibn Uthaimeen rahimahullah, he expanded upon that and gave examples and plentiful explanation, inshallah, and reinforcement through repetition and questioning. So hopefully what we have studied so far is something which is embedded, inshallah ta'ala, in your minds, and yet it is at the same time it's recommended to go over it and to go through what we have previously studied, inshallah, again at various times. Never suffice yourself with having done it once or twice, rather continue to go back to it, inshallah. So we're going to commence now with Bab al-I'rab. This is the next aspect, and this is actually the exciting part of the language. Now, inshallah, things are going to get interesting and exciting, and we're going to see the effects of a lot of what you're learning and what you're reading in the Quran, inshallah ta'ala. Again, a person needs to have some type of foundation in the Arabic language in order to understand and appreciate what's going to be coming in the subsequent lessons. So being able to understand that the Arabic language is, the way that the words are formed, and you have words which are made up of 3 letters and those which are made up of 4 letters, and how generally the word formations are, which is known in the area of Sarf, which is known as Sarf, which is I think might be translated as morphology or the word patterns. I think it's sufficient to say that if somebody has studied book 1 of Medina book 1, and he studied aspects of book 2, hopefully, inshallah, he should be able to understand generally what's going on here. Although the more a person studies, the more he'll be able to appreciate, inshallah, and she will be able to appreciate what is actually being presented here by Ibn al-Aajrummiyyah, and also the explanation of Shaykh Uthaimeen. Hopefully the sound is okay and clear today, inshallah. The brothers could just give me a confirmation of that by showing you number 1 if it's clear, and Allah wa fikum. طيب. Bab al-I'rab. Now the ironic thing about what we're doing here is that we're studying the Arabic language, and we're studying a book about the Arabic language, yet unfortunately we're studying it in English, which is not ideal. And so we're going to get to a stage where we will need to start moving closely towards the Arabic language as much as possible and start referring to things in Arabic language. And you guys also should be referring to things in the Arabic language. And today, inshallah, I'm going to be handing over a lot of that to you, where we describe certain things using Arabic terms rather than English terms. This is the nature of what we're finding a lot in the English-speaking communities, where it's almost like a new form of presenting Islamic knowledge, where a person is speaking English and Arabic phrases and words are also, almost a part of the natural formation of a person's speech. Is not ideal. Okay, but I think these are the building blocks. It's just handing over some of those phrases and words which, as it relates to this subject area, pick on them, inshallah, pick up on them and learn them and use them. And inshallah ta'ala, when you start, you'll be able to appreciate and understand better when you start sitting with the ulama and learning this knowledge, and when you hear it, inshallah, in the durus of the scholars. What is Al-I'rab? The chapter of Al-I'rab. Well, Ibn al-Aajrummiyyah, he says, Al-I'rab, this is explaining the meaning of this word I'rab, because the chapter says Bab Al-I'rab. So what is Al-I'rab? Ibn al-Aajrummiyyah, before even having asked the question, immediately he explains it. He says, Al-I'rab huwa تغيير أواخر الكلم لاختلاف العوامل الداخلة عليها لفظا أو تقديرا. And this is, hopefully we'll be able to explain this full statement today, though if we're not able to explain it in complete detail. In any case, by the end of tomorrow's class, this explanation of this sentence, which is quite extensive, will be explained inshallah in the next few pages. Now, what is the meaning of i'rab? Quite simply, you have a word in the Arabic language, the end of that word sometimes changes. Here is a word in front of us I'm pointing to, Awakhir. Awakhir. The last letter is Ra. The Ra belongs to this word. This letter, at the moment, it has a Kasrah on it. It has a Kasrah on it for a reason, because of its place in the sentence. In certain occasions, this same word, with that same last letter, may have a Fatha on the Ra, may have a Dhamma on the Ra. So Ibn al-Aajrummiyyah says, this is i'rab, meaning the ends of the words, تغيير, changing. The ends of words changing. Okay, but for what reason are they changing? لاختلاف, lam over here is التعليلية, meaning because of اختلاف العوامل الداخلة عليها, because of the various placements of that word in a sentence, or because of the conditions that word is in, or what is being preceded by of other words. There are some words in the Arabic language and some placements in the Arabic language that affect how a word is pronounced. Meaning, when we say how a word is pronounced, speaking about the last letter of that word. Shaykh Uthaimeen is going to explain that words, every letter in a particular word is only pronounced usually in one way. Look at the word Awakhir. Shaykh is going to give us an example that a word similar to Awakhir will always have a Fatha, Wa will always have a Fatha, the Kha will always have a Kasrah. This is not going to change. One day you will not be able to say Uwakhir or Iwakhir or Uwakhar. You won't be able to say it. This is a word in the Arabic language. It's always Awakhi. That Ra, that is what changes. Sometimes that word appears as Awakhiri, sometimes it appears as Awakhira, sometimes it appears as Awakhiru, and those three changes that I just referred to here, they will be according to the place of this word in a sentence, or because of the action being performed on it by the word prior to it. So in the case of, in the example that I'm choosing to show you, to explain this definition, before going into Shaykh Ibn Uthaimeen's explanation, the example I'm giving you, Awakhiri, it has a Kasrah on it. The reason it has a Kasrah on it and not a Dhamma is because the word before it is what is known as Mudaf. Those of you recall, inshallah, at the beginning of Medina book 1, if that's the book that you studied, you'll recall the combination of Mudaf and Mudaf ilayhi. So here is an example of Mudaf and Mudaf ilayhi. And the Mudaf ilayhi is a word which takes Kasrah. So this kasra is because of the acting of mudaf upon it. And this is what Ibn al-Aajrummiyyah says, al-awamil. Awamil is the plural of amil. A worker, an actor, something that does a job. So the job could be a word like mudaf. The job could be the doer, the one causing the change could be a mudaf. The amil, singular of awamil, in this case is mudaf. In another case it could be a verb coming before it. In another case it could be a harf coming before it, before the word. Each of those giving a different result to the end letter of the word that comes after it. Okay, and then Ibn al-Aajrummiyyah said lafzan aw taqdeeran. So i'rab is the changing of the last part of the word, meaning the last letter of the word, due to the various awamil, the various words or situations. Can somebody give me a translation of awamil? Because of the various actors or doers or workers or not actions but actors, as like the word that is acting upon the word that comes after it. So because of the various causes, the causatives of the change, that الداخلة, meaning that I have entered upon that word, عليها, upon the word. Then Ibn al-Aajrummiyyah said لفظا أو تقديرا, whether you can see and pronounce the change, as in the case of ri, you can see the change, you can pronounce the change with the kasra, or تقديرا is implied, you can't see it and you can't pronounce it. Okay, and Ibn Uthaimeen is going to give us the explanation and examples of that as well. الشرح, Sheen means Sharh. Shaykh Uthaimeen gives an explanation. He says al-i'rab. He explains the word al-i'rab linguistically. أعرب عن الشيء بمعنى أفصح عنه. The meaning of أعرب from al-i'rab means to clarify something and to declare it openly. When you say تقول مثلا أعربت عما في نفسي, I openly declared that which was in my heart, meaning I described my feelings, I spoke about that which was once hidden. أي أفصحت, meaning I made it clear. إعراب في اللغة. So if we talk about the dictionary meaning of the word إعراب, just to understand how this word is being used in the Arabic language, the word إعراب linguistically in the dictionary meaning means al-ifsah an al-shay, to openly declare something or to explain something or to show something. Al-ifsah an al-shay. But when we're speaking about the word i'rab in our specific context of the Arabic language, then it means تغيير أواخر الكلمة. تغيير أواخر الكلمة, the changes that occur at the end of certain words. Okay. There has to be a change, Shaykh Uthaimeen says. وَلَا بُدَّ أَنْ هُنَاكَ تَغْيِيرًا. There has to be a change in the end of certain words. Either the change is going to be a dhamma, or it's going to be nasb, which is a fatha usually, or it's going to be khafd, which is a kasra usually, and it's always going to be sukoon. Okay? And sukoon is never in the case of a ism, as you know. So therefore, if a word has a sukoon, then it's going to be a verb. أواخر الكلمة, Shaykh Uthaimeen explains, أواخر is the plural of آخر, meaning the end, or the endings. Al-أواخر, endings, meaning of more than one word. Al-i'rab idhan, so therefore i'rab relates to or deals with the ends of the words, أواخر الكلم, not with the beginning or the middle of a word or words. الشيخ says الكلمات الآن حركاتها تكون في الأول والأوسط والآخر. Shaykh says, so therefore words, you know now that it's going to have, words are going to have different patterns and different sounds at their beginnings, at their middles, and at their ends. Yet ما الذي يختص به الإعراب? What is إعراب dealing with? Answer, brothers. What is that the I'rab dealing with? The beginning of the word pattern, the end of the middle of the word pattern, or the end? Yes, Brother Hussein, the ending. Now, the end. Shaykh says, Al-Akhir. Akhir al-Kalima, the end of the word. Okay. As for the beginning of the word and the middle of the word, then this is for morphology, the scholars of morphology, Ahl al-Sarf. Not the grammarians, Ahl al-Nahw. As-Sarf, my brothers, is an aspect of the Arabic language which deals with word patterns and how words are formed, formation of words. Okay? Formation of plurals and all such words. Okay? Yet what we're dealing with, the grammarians, Ahl al-Nahw, they're the ones who deal with al-I'rab, because Nahw relates to, grammar relates to the endings of words. Okay? Interesting point here, brothers, to know. Grammar of the Arabic language is what you can see and what you know about the end of a word. Not what you know about the first part of a word or the middle of a word. Arabic grammar is that which relates to the end of a word, and therefore the word I'rab deals with what is happening at the end of a word. I'rab is something to do with the scholars of Nahw, Arabic grammar, not as-Sarf, which is the word patterns and how words are formed. Okay, let's go down a little bit. Shaykh gives an example. Nasrun. فتح Nun, the first letter. We know that this letter is na. We know it's na and not nu and ni because of our knowledge in sarf. We know that there's sukoon on the sad, nas. We know that because of our knowledge in the area of sarf. Yet the movement which we see on the ra, run, this is the aspect of grammar, and this changes. As for the first part of the word, which is the noon, and the middle of the word, which is the sad, then فَهُوَ عَلَى مَا هُوَ عَلَيْهِ لَا يَتَغَيَّرُ. These are stable and constant, they do not change. For this reason, وَلِذَا نَقُول or تَقُول, for this reason you say nas run, or nas in this case nas run, nas run, nas rin. What changed, my brothers, in those three words? Did the first and second letter change? What actually changed? Yes, Abu Abdullah, the tanween changed at the end. The last letter, absolutely. The first and the second, they stayed the same, and the last letter changed in each of those three examples. Nas, nas, nas. Three the same. And the changes, run, run, zin. Okay. So, فَالَّذِي يَتَغَيَّرُ عِنْدَ النُّحَاةِ, as far as the grammarians are concerned, it is the ending of the words that change. As for the changes that take place, or as for the letters and the formations that take place at the beginning, أواخر الكلمات, and the أواسط الكلمات, in the middle and the beginning of the words, this is علم الصرف, knowledge of morphology, that's the correct term to use. Let's go to the next page. What did Ibn Aajrummiyyah say? He said, لاختلاف العوامل الداخلة عليها, because of the various changes happening to that word. لاختلاف العوامل الداخلة عليها. Over here, اختلاف العوامل. The Shaykh says this, الجار والمجرور, عفوا, the lam al-jar, اختلافي. The jar majroor is speaking about the change, meaning the changes are taking place because of the different عوامل. Meaning تتغير باختلاف العوامل. This is a scholarly way of explaining in the Arabic language what this relates to. لاختلاف, due to the changes. What is that due to the changes? Ibn al-Aajrummiyyah says that the تغيير, due to the تغيير, the changes that are taking place due to the varying عوامل. The Shaykh says this لاختلاف, due to the various, this word due to the various is relating to changes. Okay, the changes are taking place due to the عوامل, the words which do the actual actions, الداخلة عليها, upon that word. تتغير باختلاف العوامل. It's quite possible that what I just said over the last few words of a minute or so was not very clear. But I think overall the picture is clear. Sometimes when you try to explain something which is straightforward, it makes it complicated. And it's better left as it is, in a simple translation. In any case, Ibn al-Aajrummiyyah said, تتغير لاختلاف العوامل الداخلة عليها. The changes take place because of the various actors that enter upon the word, that enter upon those words. Okay, so the reason why Ibn al-Aajrummiyyah said this, that al-i'rab is dealing with the changes that take place because of the awamil. This is important. Yeah, this removes those words, the ends of which change for other reasons. Okay? Shaykh gives an example. لأن تغيير أواخر الكلم, because of the changes at the ends of the words, قد لا يكون لاختلاف العوامل, might not be because of the varying actors upon that word. I hope you know what I mean when I say actors upon the word, the actor, the amil or the awamil. Those words which cause change, that bring about change to the word that comes after it. Changes at the end of the word sometimes is not because of another word which is acting upon it. Rather, Shaykh Uthaimeen says, قد يكون لاختلاف اللغات, لاختلاف لغات العرب. So there could be an issue with dialect. Some Arabs, they say a word and the end, as far as they're concerned, has a dhamma. Another group of Arabs in another region, they say the same word with a fatha, with a kasrah. It happens. Shaykh gives an example. Look at the word haythu. Some Arabs, they say haythu. Go to the end of the line, the Shaykh says, some Arabs say haythi. Go further in the sentence, some Arabs say haytha, the same word, but different groups of Arabs, different areas, different regions, different dialects. The same word, they are saying haythu, haythi, haytha. And even here, Shaykh gives an example, hawthu. Some Arabs saying hawthu. Okay. So the difference that takes place at the end of these words, which is in this case fi, and before that thu, and also here fa, this is in the last letter. But is the reason of these changes, my brothers, the reason of the change in haythu and haythi and haytha, is it because there is a word, there is an amil that has entered upon it? Or is it for another reason? Why is this variation in the last letter? Absolutely. Hussein, absolutely. The difference between the Arabs and the regional differences in the dialect. Thank you, Professor Mujahid and the others. So that's the reason. So Shaykh Uthaimeen is demonstrating that Ibn al-Aajrummiyyah, when he said, going back to the previous page, when he said, الإعراب هو تغيير آخر الكلمة or أواخر الكلم, إعراب is the changes that take place in the ends of the words. On purpose, he said, لاختلاف العوامل الداخلة عليها. On purpose, he said, he knew what he meant. He said, because of the various awamil that enter upon that word. Because by saying this, he was excluding the dialects. Okay, we're not talking about, i'rab is not the changes that take place at the end of a word which are due to dialects. We're talking about the changes that take place at the end of the word due to al-awamil, due to the various words which enter upon your word and cause it to change. So far so good? Okay, inshallah. Okay, brothers. Now we're about to start with some examples of real awamil, real changes, causes of change. Here we are. العوامل تتغير بسبب تغييرها أواخر الكلم. So, the Shaykh is saying here that the various types of changes, they bring various types of changes. Okay. For example, you say, جاء زيد. زيد. Okay. جاء, this is a verb. We know it's a verb because it doesn't take alif al-lam in any circumstance. It doesn't take kasrah. It doesn't take tanween. And you can't put a harf al-jar before it. But it does take a ta'nith sakina. So you can say ja'at. We know this is a verb. Zaydun, we know this is a noun because of the tanween. Ja'a Zaydun, although the translation quite simply gives us the meaning that Zayd came, what's important to us is to know that the dhamma at the end of the word Zayd has a meaning. It has a meaning. It means that this verb was done by the owner of this dhamma, the owner of this tanween, or this dhamma rather. Who's the owner of this dhamma, or these two dhammas? Zayd. They belong to Zayd. They are on his name. So as long as Zayd is the possessor of these two dhammas, then he is the one who did the action. Ja'a Zaydun means Zayd came. Zayd is the one who did the action of coming. Okay? So here we say Ja'a is fi'l. Okay? And Zaydun is fa'il. Okay. Shaykh says آخرها الدال مضمومة. The dal at the end of that word, it has a dhamma on it. Another example, تقول رأيت زيدا. رأيت زيدا. In this example, Shaykh says رأيت, I saw Zayd. This is the two. Okay? I saw Zaydan. Over here, did Zayd do the action of seeing? Or was he the one being looked at or being seen? Quite clearly, he was the one being seen. He was the one being seen. So, to show that he was the one being seen and he was the one that this verb was acting upon, the Arabic language gives him, not Imran, he's the one being looked at, gives him a Fatha. And because he doesn't have Alif and Lam on his name, he takes Fathatain. Because Zayd doesn't have Alif and Lam on his name, he takes Dhammatain. Tanween, as you know, goes on a word that does not have Alif and Lam. Zaydan, he has got Fatha because this is to indicate that he is not the one who did the looking. Rather, he is the one who was being looked at. Ra'aytu Zaydan. So, Ra'a, this is the fi'l, this is the verb. The Damir al-Muttasil, the Ta, this is the fa'il, one who did the action of looking. And Zaydan, this is maf'ulun bihi. Maf'ulun bihi. Naam Abu Abdullah. There is nothing mustatir about this particular sentence here, Akhil Kareem. Yeah? Jayd. Because the mustatir means that the fa'il is not seen, is not there. Right? Shaykh says, look at the word Zayd. Al-ana ja'a sarat maftuhatan. Now you can see that the word dal, the dal in this word now has a fatha on it. لماذا؟ لأن العامل الأول غير العامل الثاني. Because the causer or the actor or the changer in the first example is different to the one in the second example. And that's quite clear by the simple explanation that I gave to you guys. And the third example, marartu bizaydin. Marartu bizaydin. Khafadnaha, we gave it a kasra. Marartu, I passed by. The ta over here, this is the Damir Muttasil, which is a fa'il, Damir fa'il, okay, which is Muttasil, and it is the one who's doing the action of passing by. Marartu, I passed by. You don't, this particular case, you say, bi Zaydin. Marartu bi Zaydin. I passed by Zayd. Because of this ba, which is known as, what is that ba known as, guys? Thank you, Abu Abdullah, harful jar. That's why I need to be, for you brothers to be on your keyboard, ready to answer anytime, inshallah, to complete the sentences. The harful jar there has caused a kasra to come at the end of Zayd. Shaykh says, khafadnaha. Okay, so then, لاختلاف العوامل, because of the various changes or the different changes in each of these examples. Ja'a is different to ra'aytu, different to marartu bi. Each case had a different amil, a different changer. Okay. A different causer, a different actor upon the word. All right. Inshallah, you'll be able to factor. I'm struggling to get that word. Factor, Abu H. Naam. The one, yeah, the word which is causing the change. The word which is causing, or the factor which is causing the change. Barakallahu feek. Yeah, maybe. Now that you told me it's Google Translate, I'm going to doubt it. Because you can never be sure with that program. There's all sorts of strange things. But yes, it pretty much sounds like, yeah, the factor, the thing that is bringing about that change. Idhan, and we're going to conclude, I think, with this. Idhan, الأواخر تختلف باختلاف العوامل الداخلة على الكلمة. He said, so therefore, the ends of the words differ according to the varying acting factors which enter upon the word. إن دخل عليها عامل رفع رفعناها. If the factor or the thing that acts upon the word is one which causes the word to have a dhamma, which is known as رفع, then we give it a dhamma, رفعناها. أو عامل نصب, if the factor which enters upon the word is one which gives it a fatha usually, nasb, nasabnaha, we give it a fatha. أو عامل خفض, and if the factor which enters upon the word is one which normally gives it a kasra, khaf, khafadnaha, we give it a kasra. Okay, brothers? Let's see if we can squeeze something in for the next few minutes, or we can leave. This is a whole new section in itself, just explaining the end of the of Ibn al-Aajrummiyyah's. Just explaining the end of Ibn al-Aajrummiyyah's definition, where he said, lafzan wa taqdeeran. That in itself deserves an in-depth explanation, and I think it's better to leave that till tomorrow, inshallah. I think we'll stop there if the brothers have any particular questions about what we have, specific to what we have been reading and explaining today, and translating today. If you can go ahead and ask that, inshallah, and then we'll conclude the class, and bi'idhnillah, we'll spend tomorrow's 30 or so minutes going through the meaning and the examples of lafzan wa taqdeeran, because this is very important. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, wa sallallahu wa sallam ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. Now, Akhi is asking for the example of a sukoon. The example of sukoon, Akhi Kareem, you're going to find that in the verbs. Okay, a word which ends with a sukoon, you're going to find that in the verbs. For example, and we'll come across that in this chapter of الإعراب, where Ibn al-Aajrummiyyah tells you that there are some huruf which bring a sukoon on the word that comes after it, on the verb that comes after it. Okay, which, for example, is the word lam. When the word lam comes, the verb after it takes a sukoon. Lam yadhhab, he didn't go. Okay, and also the imperative form of the fi'al amr, idhhab, go, also takes a sukoon. Hope that's clear, inshallah. When you mention different dialects, what is its impact on the language spoken by Arabs of different regions? The impact spoken by different regions, Allah knows best, Akhi Kareem. The question that you're asking, Brother Abu H, the impact, Allah knows best what the impact is. Just quite simply, you might say one of tolerance. When these Arabs meet together in Makkah, for example, they're coming for Hajj, and they meet together and they speak in their various dialects, they meet each other, so they have tolerance, where they don't fight each other and say this is not the correct way of speaking. Rather, they appreciate that there is variation of language and dialects, and also one of expanding a person's knowledge, recognizing that there are other ways of saying the same things, as is reported from Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhuma, when he wanted to know the meaning of Fatir as-samawati wal ard. He wasn't sure of the meaning of the word Fatir, and then he came across two people arguing about a hole that had been dug, and one of them was saying ana fatartuha, the other one was saying la ana fatartuha, I'm the one who made it, or I'm the one who dug it. So then he understood the meaning of Fatir as-samawati wal ard, the originator, the maker, the creator of the heavens and the earth. So it's about expanding a person's knowledge, and Allah knows best. Any more questions? Ayyub Ikhwan, Allah yabarak feekum. As for Abu H, I didn't get what you meant with your comment, Lam Yalid. My experience with dialects is zero, my brother, except just bumping into different brothers from different parts of of this region. Brothers from Egypt, brothers from Najd, brothers from Jeddah, different parts of the world speak Arabic. They have different variations, and what you hear the ulama saying in lessons of tafsir, and these points of benefit that Ibn Uthaimeen mentioned. So yes, my experience with dialects is none. Oh, I see. You mean how my experience in that way? Do you find it difficult to understand them? Yes, sometimes you do. Sometimes you do. I remember when we were studying Arabic, we had been taught by the Saudi teachers, and or we had been taught by Sudanese and Egyptian teachers that were speaking the local dialect. But there was one particular year they had drafted in a teacher from Egypt who chose to speak to us in his dialect. And by this time I've been studying Arabic for 5 years, and that particular year I did not understand a single word that he was saying. The Syrian guy next to me in class, I had to ask him for a dictionary. So he gave me a dictionary, meaning he wrote a piece of paper that when the teacher says this word, he means this. And when he says this word, he means that. And these were, it was very dialect specific, very region specific, the way particularly the Egyptians speak, words which I wasn't familiar with at that stage of my learning, like which are specific to their own, you might say slang or colloquial talk, like bardo and bita' and these types of words, which later, just mixing with people, you hear more and more, and you soon realize what they actually mean. So, do I find difficult to understand them? Yes, I do find difficult understanding them, and you either just infer the meanings, or you can actually ask somebody, what did the guy just say? What did he mean? It seems that there's no more questions, so we leave it there. Barakallahu feekum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.